environmental compliance from most of you may know us as National Board for Small Scale Industries. So when they hear Ghana Enterprises Agency, they think it's two different organizations, but we are one and the same. So a bit of history. The NBSSI was formed in 1981 by an Act of Parliament 434. And then in 2020, that was when we changed. So we started doing in 1985. That's when we had our first executive director. And then, so we're operating only in Accra. And in 1990, we had our first BAC. The BAC is the Business Advisory Centers. So when you go to any district or the regions, you may not find Ghana Enterprises Agency, but you find Business Advisory Centers. We are the implementing wing of Ghana Enterprises Agency. So we had the first one in Marseille, right? And then fast forward to 2017, we had our first female executive director, who is still the executive director. But now, because we have changed, it's no more called the executive director, but the chief executive officer. All right, who is still carrying the other OC, Yankee I. I'm sure most of you have heard of his name. All right. So our mission and our mandate, right? We are here for you. So our mission is our mandate basically is to coordinate, implement, and monitor the MSME landscape, right? And then our vision, create a vibrant entrepreneurial economy by fostering the growth and development of MSMEs. And our vision, improving the competitiveness of MSMEs by facilitating the provision of EDS services. Okay, so about GDE, our operational structure. So when we have one head office, we have 16 regional offices, and then we have 216 BACs across the country, and we have 36 business resource centers. So as you can see, we are like MTN everywhere you go. You'd find us there. And our relevance of the MSE sector to the economy of Ghana, you'd realize that 80% of Ghana's workforce is MSME. Out of that, our contribution to Ghana's GDP is 70%. So you know that we are doing a very good job. 90% of businesses that are registered in Ghana are all MSMEs. Yes. So we believe that the MSE sector's potential to reduce unemployment rates cannot be underestimated. So we don't do it at all. And what are our strengths? I think I've mentioned this already. We are the largest footprint in the 16th country regions of Ghana. Well, I mean, GDP. And we have extensive experience in providing BDS technical and entrepreneurial skills training, mentorship, and then coaching. We create an enabling environment for interventions to assess finance, markets, regulatory requirements, and then technical transfer. And we don't do this alone. We have various partnerships with multinational agencies that help us with projects that enable us to be able to meet some of our mandates. And who are target groups? We work with youth, especially. We believe that they are the future. And then women. In fact, we are biased towards women. So in all our programming, 70% is targeted at women. And then we also work with persons with disability and marginalized groups. So these are our targets. So the MSME sector and GA strategy. We know that though the MSE sector form a larger base of the workforce in Ghana, or the business ecosystem, most of them are in the informal space. So that's where we come in to do a lot of work. And then according to Ghana Statistical Service report of 2015, 89.5%, 89.9% for workers in the informal sector. And it's not smooth over there. There are issues, right? And some of these issues include non-payment of taxes, low or irregular income, limited access to social benefits. I'm sure most of us, if we have our own way, would pay social security for our staff. But if I should ask you, even those of us here, how many of us are paying social security for our staff? I'm sure I will only get one or two hands up. Right, so these are issues. And then lack of formalization, like I mentioned earlier. Poor corporate governance, deposit risk to business continuity. I think Mr. Kalu mentioned business succession. So a business owner dies and they die with everything because of improper documentation and all that. And then for participation of women, like I mentioned, we are biased, so we try to get them involved. 44% of MSCs in Ghana are owned by women. And then we are ranked second African country that have the highest women MSMEs. Yeah. And 54.9% of employed women are also in the informal sector. Participation of youth. So the global youth unemployment rate is 12.6%. And Ghana's youth unemployment is 50%. That is a bit scary, right? So we have 100,000 student graduates from tertiary institutions annually. And that is contributing to that statistics over there. Secondary and tertiary business programs are being rolled out to shape the thinking of the youth, so that when they come out of school, they are not thinking of going to look for jobs, but then we inculcate the entrepreneurial spirit right into them from school, so that once they are coming out, some even start whilst they are still in school. Then they come out with those innovative ideas that they have, create their jobs, and also employ each other, so that we can reduce that unemployment rate. So I mentioned that we contribute 70% to Ghana's GDP, right? So which sectors are SMEs contributing? So we have the agri sector that forms 21% of MSME's contribution to GDP. So it's in the area of crop, animal farming, forestry, and agribusiness. And then we have 30% in the industrial sector, which looks at the oil and gas, processing of metals. And then the educational, the services. So we have education, travel, hospitality, health, transport, ICT, wholesale and retail. Those forms the services sector, and they contribute 49%. Okay, so we know that the MSME sector, it has its own challenges. This may not be exhaustive, but this is a few that we are trying to put together. So limited access to finance and information gap. We know for most of you, sometimes getting access to information. Sometimes I tell the clients that there are a lot of things available in the ecosystem, but how do you get to know? There's that gap which GA is trying to reach. So every now and then we have these information seminars that will make you know what opportunities are available in the system that you can take advantage of. So access to technical support, we have access to market. Some people have very good products, good content, packaging and everything nice, but how do they access the market? So for some of them, it might be just meeting the regulatory requirements, registering with the various regulatory authorities, so FDA, because if you need to supply to bigger shops, of course, they want you to be certified with FDA or maybe GSC. If you have somebody outside, they've taken your product across the shops. It is good, people want to patronize it, but how do you get it across? You need to have GSA certification and all that, so those are some of the things that hinder. And then, so I just mentioned difficulties in complying with regulatory procedures. So these are, sometimes it might not take much, but they don't even know what it takes to be able to certify. So that's where we, the business advisory centers, come in. So every now and then we make these informations available to you. And you realize that it doesn't take much to actually comply, but it's the getting to know the information. Sorry, I think maybe I don't know whether it's the lighting or it's my colors, forgive me. Alright, so females too have their own challenges in this country, because I don't know whether we are a patriarchal society. We are trying to be that way. I don't know whether we have a patriarchal or something, but it's not a level playing field across the country. There are some areas that properties that they can use as collateral, so it becomes a bit difficult. And we have higher risk associated with small scale activities. Just like Mr. Afalu mentioned earlier, don't go to start business because the landscape is uncertain. So for some women, they would rather do with what they have. They don't want trouble, they don't mind their business. So if it's just hand to mouth, they'll just produce, sell and come back. So the risk to go out there and take that risk, they don't want it. And that's true. And lack of collateral, I just mentioned it, because the opportunities are there, but then you need to, something must give, like to put it in the layman's, and you don't have it, right? So these are some of the challenges that we mentioned. So what are some of the strategies that GE would also, we are rolling out to help meet some of these challenges? So we have it then in 5. One, resources. So we are assisting the coordination of efforts and resources to support the MSME sector. I don't know, but we are always in the news. We are giving out grants. Have you heard? Yes. You have. Okay. So we have multinationals that we work with, and we've come out with projects here and there. And the requirements are not so much, just that your book should be in order. Right? Because for every person or every organization that wants to give you money, Mr. Afalu mentioned it. Now let's go to your books. You need to convince me that I'm not throwing my money away. And how do you do that? It's by the records that you keep. So once you are keeping your records, you have a higher percentage of accessing some of our grants. And then initiatives. So we have initiatives to equip and support businesses that are practicing this good business, that are in good business practices. We help you to access technology, technical assistance, markets, and then finance. So now we even have the concept shops. Right. I don't know how many of you are clients for GE here. There's 2. So under our current program, I'll talk about that later, but we have concept shops, and all these are supposed to help you to put your products out there. We have the Ghana Mall, we have Local House. These are avenues that we have created for access to market. Because sometimes we know that it's very difficult for people to know you in your little corner. but we help you to throw light and give visibility to your business and then your product. And then empower. So we build strong institutional infrastructure to meet MSME needs. So here we partner with some of the MSME institutions that are in place already. AGI, because we know we grow you from micro to small, and then hand you over to AGI. But we are still in partnership with them. So we know your needs, and then we put things together to try to know. And then we develop programs, create a conducive business environment that will propel your growth through access to information and regulatory support. So when we go forward, when I say regulate, I've been mentioning it a lot because we support in that direction, but I'll mention it. And then inclusion. So if you see our target group, you realize that we open our doors to everybody. Youth. As for men, it's a default, but we concentrate on people that we think are marginalized, so the PWDs, marginalized groups, people living with HIV and all that. Try to bring them on board and get them doing so that they are not left behind. So what are some of the services we provide? Business development services. We do training every now and every day. We are in the news, we are doing training. In fact, our clients are training fatigued because we train them so much that when we call them for training, they are like, yeah, bro. Okay, so we access to market and regulatory support, access to finance, and then technical assistance also. So under access to business development services, what are some of the activities that we do over there? We have ocean training, occupational safety, health and environmental, occupational safety, health, environmental and management. We realize that we work, but sometimes creating the necessary conducive environment for our workers, we don't prioritize them. So we do trainings for some of our clients to know about that. We do value chain management, information sensitization programs. We do incubation. This we target the tertiary institutions. So it's a partnership between GE and some of the tertiary institutions. So even before the students graduate, we're taking them through entrepreneurship and all that they need to hit the ground running, so to speak, when they come out of school. We do pitch training. Like I mentioned, there are a lot of grants around, but they will not just give it to you. You need to go and convince them that when they give you the money, you are not really talented. And how do you do that? It's a skill. You need to pitch your business idea for investors to buy into them. So this is a training that we've taken upon ourselves, and then we train the youth especially to be able to pitch their business ideas. And then we have digitalization training. Now we cannot do without the IT world. And we realize that most of our mothers, like we say, computer didn't come during their age. But we don't want to leave them behind. So what do? We have projects with GIC, and I think Madam Joanne will testify. I think she attended one last year. We call it Digitalize for Jobs. And we target women-led businesses. We take them through using technology to enhance what they do. And then entrepreneurship seminars. We have literacy and then numeracy skills. So I was talking about keeping your books. Sometimes it's not like you don't want to do it, but it's the know-how. How about, and for us, the people that we work with, so if I mention that we are in 360, then you know that we are in the remotest areas or the districts. And most of them, sometimes the literacy and numeracy is a problem. So we actually partner with non-formal education and train some of our women, even men, who would avail themselves to be able to have the basic knowledge in writing and adding 1+1, so you are not cheated in your business. And then we have start your business workshop. Sometimes we have youth who want to start the business, but how do I go about it? Where do I start from? So we do some of these workshops. We do food hygiene and safety workshops for those that are in the food sector to also benefit from that. Records keeping and business management. And then when it comes to technical skills, how many of you have heard of Kaizen? You have. In this room, one person, okay. So Kaizen is a Japanese concept being used by Toyota. In fact, not being just used by, but they popularized its use. And it's a quality management tool which helps you to maximize efficiency. So at the end of the day, you become efficient and then your productivity also goes up. And in Ghana, they partnered with GE. So we train our clients, we do verbal training, then we do the implementation as well. So after you've attended any of our seminars and you think that this is what, or it's something that I can replicate with my organization, we come in and then we implement with you. And at the end of the day, you see that you cut down waste. For the Japanese, what they don't like at all is wastage. And what we would describe as being waste is not what they are looking at. They have at least 7 types of waste, right? Which the term is muda. I don't want to go into that, but we do that training as well. If you are interested, later you can see me. And then we have apprenticeship training, and then we also give startup kits. Right? And then master craft business training as well. Access to market and regulatory support. So we have marketing seminars. We do. Is there lighting? Oh, let me see here. But I think it's also the color and the. It's okay, but it's the lighting. Alright, so we have marketing seminars. We support people to attend trade fairs, right? And then we market, it's market market linkages. So we try to create linkages between clients. We know that somebody's finished product is another person's raw material, right? So we try to create that networking where people can do business amongst themselves. And then we improve on product quality and packaging. We will train on that as well. And then formalization of business with Office of the Registrar of Companies. We facilitate access to Ghana Standards Authority. So we have an MOU with them. So if you are a client and you want to certify your product, you go through us for a token. But then when you go, they waive off some of the charges for you, about half of the charges for you, those who are going to teach you. And then we also have an MOU with FGE where we support the clients. A free website. We created a WhatsApp business for them. And then if they already had a WhatsApp, a social media platform that they had already started, we built on that and also gave them another or an additional platform to add to what they already have. So under that project, we trained in total 410 women. And these women are now able to increase and then widen their customer base based on the social media platforms and the website and all that. It's giving visibility to their businesses. And then as for Kabas, I think all of us knew about it, right? The stimulus package. Kabas, how many of us benefited from it? No one benefited from Kabas. You heard, but no one benefited. Really? Okay. So I think that was the intervention from government to support MSMEs that were negatively impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. And I think we dispersed about 523 million in loans and grants to 300,000 businesses. And over 57 of them were loan receivers, while 71% were, those who received the grants were women. So you can tell that from every statistics I gave, women take the chunk of it. Okay. And then we also had GA Mastercard Foundation COVID Recovery and Resilience Program, which we did name ENCOSWAP. So under that, we dispersed 71 million cedis in grants and loans to 28,169 beneficiaries. And then 51.3% of loan and grant receivers were youth between 18 to 35 years. Out of that intervention, we created 2,400 new jobs and 2,364 MSMEs were trained across 60 districts in entrepreneurship, financial literacy, and small business management. So I'm surprised that none of you did. Because none of you benefited. You see, that's the information gap. Drop closer to the BACs. Okay, please. Okay, this one to Young Africa Works. So this is we are implementing the second phase of this project now. But the first one was called Young Africa Works. Under the project, we focused on job creation through entrepreneurship. And the target was to train 39,000 jobs for young women and men in Ghana. But we even exceeded our target and created 94,685 jobs for the youth. And then 14,367 businesses were started. 65,298 people were trained. And under the project, 2011 received FDA certifications. Okay, so what do we have going that you can take advantage of now? We have the Youth Start Ghana Jobs and Skills Project. So this is being implemented by 5 institutions. By the GA, we had the mandate to implement the component 2.1 that has to do with entrepreneurship training and the grants, giving support or grants to the trainees. So over the years, we have dispersed 31 million cedis as grants to the youth. This is a youth-based program. And 29,000 people have been trained, 30,000 jobs created, and female grant receivers accounted for 70.53%. And then we have the Ghana Economic Transformation Project. It's a World Bank project, which is also geared towards alleviating the hardship that COVID brought. Yes, but this one, it targets small to medium enterprises. So our categorization of small to medium, now it has changed. But when the program started, then at least you should be employing between 6 to 30. So 6 to 30, and your annual turnover should be a minimum of 180,000. Then you are classified as a small enterprise. And then for a medium enterprise, then you should be employing between 30 to 99. And your annual turnover, a minimum of 7.2 million to 21.6 million. So that's our classification, but now I think we have reclassified. So it's either or. So you are either qualifying with your employee strength or with your annual turnover. Or if you have both, all the better. And then we change your financials for 3 years. So once you have these two basic things, you are good to go. And the good news is that it is still open. The portal is still open, we are taking applications. So every now and then, you hear in the news that GA is giving so much to MSMEs. It's under the Ghana Economic Transformation Project. We have one for the youth. So if you are a youth and you are in business, or you know a youth that is doing well in their business, that is also open and we are taking applications. So for the youth, at least they should be employing between, even if it's 3 or 4, and they make an average of 100,000 a year, they are business and you think they are doing well, please share this information with them and let them apply. Okay. And then we have the JICA National Kaizen Project. So like I mentioned and I explained the concept, we are implementing it for MSMEs. And then we've assisted so far 276 businesses. And at the end of implementation, the average lead time improved by 53.39%. So imagine doing something and at the end of the day, you've been able to save 53.39% of the time you used in doing that. This, if you convert that into production time, is a whole lot, right? And then, you went back. And then the quality assurance and effects were improved by 75.31%. And production increased by 82.22%. That's a whole lot, right? So the Kaizen is a good thing. I mean, if you know the Japanese, you know that they don't joke with their time. In fact, when we went there, when they say we are meeting at 12, they actually mean 11:50, and you have to be there because they view it as rude. If you said that you all agree on the time, and then you don't make it, you are being rude to them. That's how we see it. Right? So they don't like wastage, and time for them is a waste. If you are late, they see it as a waste that should be eliminated. Alright. So now we have this MasterCard, GA MasterCard Foundation business. So this is the second phase of the Young Africa Works. But this time we nicknamed it BizBox, Business in a Box. So we basically have it hinges on 5 pillars. So we have youth skills development, we have access to markets, we have access to startup kits, we have youth social networks, institutional strengthening, policy and regulatory support. And the main aim, or the aim of the project, is to train 250 youth, out of which 70% should be women and 10% PWDs. So in this particular project, our focus is really on the PWDs, their inclusion. So even when it comes to the grants, we've set 10% aside for them. So if you know any PWDs, this is another opportunity for them to apply. And thankfully, the portal is not closed yet, so they still have time to be part of the project. It's a 3-year project which would end in 2027. But we are targeting, it's a new targeted project. So between 15, this one started from 15 to 35. But for the MBAs, the one that I mentioned that is women-led businesses, that's under MBA. Because it's a business, we are expected to start work from 18. So that one is 18 to 35. Aside that, and all we need is for you to be a Ghanaian, have a Ghana card, and have a digital address. These are the 2 things, or 3 things that you require from me. That's all. So if you have an interest and you want to scan and maybe, but you can go on our website. All this information that I'm telling you, you can get it on our website. You can scan and then have the application of this. So I just want to share 3 of our success stories from the programs that we run in the class. So Angela partook in the Youth Start Ghana Jobs and Skills. And after that, after taking her through the trainings and all that, she learned valuable lessons in bookkeeping, business plan development and all that. And it helped her to make data-driven decisions. That helps her to chart a clear course for the business. So at least GJSP hasn't even ended, but we started seeing the impact of the post businesses. We've done 2 cohorts. We are currently on our 3rd cohort. And then we have also the Young Africa Works. She also is a beneficiary. And then she benefited from the product certification with FDA. And with that, she's been able to expand her customer base because now she's supplying to bigger supermarkets and outlets. And then the Kaizen. So for Tiwajo, she's a client, she's been with us for years. So she's been through most of our training programs. And then we implemented Kaizen for her, but she sustained the practice such that she was able to represent Ghana in Ethiopia in the Kaizen African Awards, and she placed 2nd. Yes, among several countries. So it's doable. I think we can all embrace the programs that we have. And then to reach us, like I mentioned, we are like MTN everywhere you go. In every district assembly, when you go to every district assembly and ask for the BAC, we are either located in the assembly or very close to the assembly. And then you can access all of the services that we need or we have to provide. So, thank you. If you have any questions.